Hi guys, it's the Island Girl and I'm back with another one for you today. And today I'm reacting to UK heatwave. Temperature soars to 34 degrees Celsius as millions face hose pipe bans. Somebody sent this to me and I'm like, this is interesting. When I pull up what the link that they sent, and I'm like, heatwave, UK. You don't really hear that because normally you hear about how it's raining and it's chill and windy and stuff like that. So when I saw the title, I'm like, okay, now this is interesting. So we're going to get right into this one. Link for this is in the description below. Let's see what this is all about. But 34 degrees, that's somewhere about what? About 90, 93, 94 degrees Fahrenheit here. That's hot. That's hot. Let's check this out. Here we go.
The Seven Hills of Sheffield are scorching under a baking sun. In this city and around the country, people are being warned to appreciate the risks that come with the heat.
Oh, wow.
As the temperatures climb.
Here in Sheffield, it's 30 degrees and a yellow heat health alert is in place, meaning there could be a rise in deaths among the vulnerable. But across large parts of the country, there's an amber alert, meaning the whole population could start to feel the effects of these hot conditions as we enter the third heat wave of the year.
Are you serious? You guys get this kind of heat in the UK? That's crazy. Yesterday, it was like, here in Alaska, it was like 75 degrees somewhere there. And we were burning up. I'm like, we were losing it. We've been having some hot days for the last couple of days. And I'm telling you, when I say hot, I mean literally hot. My house was like, when I look at the thermal, it was like 81. And I'm like, what? And that's rough, or something about 23 degrees Celsius for you guys. So I was like, oh my God, we were like dripping, putting on sunscreen and the whole 9 yards, trying to avoid the sun. That's how hot it's been for the past couple of days here in Alaska. So I can imagine 34, and then you guys getting a warning to stay out, and they're saying the vulnerable can die from this heat wave over there. Okay, now.
The UK has just had its warmest spring since records began in 1884.
Wow.
And last month was the warmest June on record for England.
Oh!
In May, northwest England and Yorkshire officially entered drought. And today, Yorkshire Water became the first company to bring in a hosepipe ban covering much of Yorkshire and parts of North Lincolnshire and Derbyshire.
Hold on. She just said drought? Did she just say drought? I wouldn't think of UK having drought whatsoever, because when you think of the UK, it's always so lush and green, and you know the rainfall. That's how I think of the UK. So with her saying drought, I'm like, drought? That is just it. I don't see it when it comes to the UK. I'm not an idiot, guys. I get what she's saying, but I'm like, okay, when I picture the UK, when you talk about the British Isle, you know, you talk about, you know, lots of water. You talk about how lush and green. When I see a lot of the videos that I look at, I didn't expect to hear that. That's what I'm saying. It's like a shocker to hear that you guys actually have drought.
Southeast Waters also announced that from the 18th of July, most households in Kent and Sussex will be banned from using hosepipes to clean cars, water gardens, and fill paddling pools.
Oh, wow.
And Thames Waters warned its 16 million customers across London and the Thames Valley they too could face a ban.
Oh!
Water UK says the companies are trying to avoid further restrictions by moving water to the driest areas and building new reservoirs.
This is crazy.
But will they be able to fill them? Yorkshire's reservoirs are just half full. In this area, cumulative rainfall so far this year is the lowest since 1959.
That's crazy. That's a long time. 1959, the lowest it's been. That's a damn. Guys, this is crazy.
We're doing X is equal to 6 over 49.
The 1970s classrooms at Wales High School in Rotherham aren't built for the heat. Children have been allowed to swap their blazers for PE kit to try to help them keep cool and concentrate.
It's quite hard to concentrate in class, but since we've been allowed to wear these PE kits, so you can think more straight.
It can sometimes make you feel a bit sick if you don't have the right, like if you don't have any water, or if your water's gone warm, it can be a bit tricky. Starting to cross your mind a lot more that it could be like climate change is becoming a lot more of a risk factor than we like knew and understood before.
And you'll be able to see.
Hold up. July. Kids are still in school over there this time? That's interesting. I'm glad they were able to adjust, because I know you guys are I love the idea that you guys wear uniform, but say your PE kit so you can adjust to the heat, and you guys don't have AC. That's the crazy thing about it. If you guys been having these kind of heat wave, why don't you guys have AC? Maybe it's a stupid question. Don't come for me, but I'm like, that, because those fans ain't gonna do much, and like they're saying, your water get warm and then you gotta change out. But I'm happy that they were able to change out from their regular school uniform to PE gear to be at least cool. So we get summer break here from school, depending on your state, but here in Alaska we get summer break from mid-May all the way to sometimes last week of August, they return to school. But you guys are still in school during July? Interesting.
We've got different parts of the building that are designed in different ways. And we've got some porta cabins whereby it's more difficult to keep cool in those.
Do you think education bosses, councils are going to have to rethink how they design schools, but also the school system, if this is the kind of weather we're going to have in future?
Oh,
yeah.
It's so difficult to maintain concentration. You know, I haven't mentioned staff. They find it difficult as well. We've relaxed their dress and what they wear too, but they'll definitely have to look at that. And we've got a new build coming up, and will be complete for summer 27. And part of that design is to create it so that the building can control its own temperatures.
As well as
makes
redesigning
sense.
our workplaces, we might have to design our day differently to work around a hotter climate.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
get to a phase where eventually we'll have to start planning as per happens in Southern Europe, because that's just how climate change is going to affect us. So we'll have to start changing the way our working patterns operate. So we'll have to kind of adjust our whole way of life as we get further into climate change and as the planet warms more.
So we might go to work early but finish early?
Quite possibly. I could say, I think that's probably a medium-term thing, but I could see that as a scenario.
Cornwall is one of the areas where the
That's crazy, guys. I'm like, seriously, just sitting here and looking at it, and a lot of people don't think that climate change is an issue. Sorry about that, guys. They're doing some construction over on the other block, and I could hear the saw or whatever they're doing coming through. So sorry about that noise. But yeah, as I was saying, it's crazy that a lot of people don't believe that climate change is an issue. They really think that, oh no, there's no such thing as, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but it's obvious as to what's going on, because now they're going to think about adjusting how people come to work and what time they come to work as time progresses. If the heat waves continue year after year, if this is going to be a regular thing. One thing I realized, because I've watched the video before, I guess your house is built not to trap the heat in. Or maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it's the other way around, to keep cool on its own. That's what I'm thinking. So that's why you don't really have AC like that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, please.
heat alert was upgraded today from yellow to amber.
Oh,
On Newquay Beach, they've got the sea to cool off, but heat is a growing danger. New research predicts that when you combine climate change with an aging population, we're going to see heat-related deaths rise dramatically in England and Wales.
wow.
The worst case scenario up into the 2070s, say, if we have a high emission scenario and large population growth and aging of the population, we could see potentially some 50 times worse numbers of heat deaths than at the present day.
That's crazy.
Quite shocking.
And in the short term, an immediate danger. There are wildfire warnings around the UK. 75 firefighters were needed to bring a grass fire under control in East London.
What?
The fire brigade saying with little sign of rain, the risk of further fires is severe.
Jane Deeth, well, an extreme risk of wildfires warning is in place for much of Scotland, where temperatures are expected to reach the high 20s this weekend. Let's get more from our Scotland correspondent, Catherine Sampson, who joins us from the Trossachs. What's it like there, Catherine?
And Scotland, to me, it's similar to Alaska. So, and I, like I said, we've been having some high temperatures in the 70s for the past week and last week, and that's like 23, 24 degrees Celsius for you guys. So you can imagine we're complaining about the heat like that, and your guys is rising more than that. Today is like about 54 degrees, about 12 degrees Celsius for you guys. So it's shocking. And then a lot of times, like I said, heat waves come with fire, and it's hard to control, but it's just hard kind of to wrap my mind. Like I said, when it comes down to the UK, Ireland, and these places, when I think about it, it's all I can see is lush green. And in the forestry that you guys have, I didn't expect for a second or think for a second that you guys would have drought. That one really got me.
Yeah, well, temperatures already in the mid-20s, and as you say, expected to rise in what many consider to be the hottest weekend of the year. And of course, that is going to bring people in their droves to enjoy beauty spots like this one, Scotland's forests. But with that comes risk. These extreme wildfire warnings are in place now today for central and eastern parts of Scotland, but tomorrow they'll be in place for the whole of Scotland, and they're going to last right through until Monday. What this fire service are saying is really, please take extreme caution if you are bringing anything into these areas that involves a naked flame. So we're talking barbecues and we're talking campfires, especially if there's a bit of wind, as there is in Scotland. These wildfires can spread extremely rapidly. They can devastate wildlife, they can devastate farmland. Quite often communities in rural areas have to get involved in trying to bring them under control. Now, up north already in Murray, parts of the Highlands, some crews have been trying to tackle blazes for the last 3 days running. You know, there's an issue here with resourcing. Up in the Cairngorm National Park, they're saying they're going to have to send rangers out over the weekend to keep patrols going, and they're also waiting to hear back from the Scottish Government, because Cairngorm National Park have proposals to bring in a fire bylaw and actually completely ban barbecues and fires from their parks.
Catherine, thanks very much.
I can definitely see where they're coming from with considering banning all barbecues in parks and so forth, because they just don't want to cause, chaos. Because, when a fire starts, it's hard to keep under control, especially if the ground is dry. I can see where they're coming from with that, and I can understand why the alerts are going out, because, like I said, in my mind, I'm like, I don't see the UK in that way, because like I said, always hear about the rain. You always see how, when you look at certain videos, you look how lush and green and pretty it is. So when I see heat wave and I see, alert going on, so people have to be mindful, and people are, you're outside, you gotta be mindful about the heat, make sure you keep hydrated and all like that. It's just shocking to hear about the UK, period, point blank. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's not shocking to me. It is. And then when she talk about Scotland, I'm like, Scotland to me is like Alaska, and like I said, we've been having a little in the 70s, which is around 23, 24 degrees Celsius where you guys are, and we are crying, like piping hot. I'm like, so yeah, this was an interesting video, like an eye-opener, and people are sitting around and still thinking that climate change isn't an issue, or it's not a thing. It's the Island Girl. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section. Be good, be kind, be safe out there. Love you guys, and I'll definitely catch you guys in another video. Bye.